Rethinking Hypothyroidism. Why Treatment Must Change and What Patients Can Do. By Antonio C. Bianco, M.D. Published by the University of Chicago Press. Preface. Doctors commonly consider hypothyroidism an easy disease to treat. And yet, after years working as a physician and scientist, and as the former president of the American Thyroid Association, I could not square the fact that science had developed a successful treatment with the stories of some of my own patients who continue to suffer. They are not alone. For about 10 to 20% of patients on the leading treatment, millions in the United States and around the world, that treatment is not working. In this book, I argue that my fellow physicians need to take their patients' complaints seriously and give them more options. I arrive at this argument by explaining the details so that patients and their support networks can understand this complex subject and become their own advocates. In the first part of the book, I cover the crisis that has evolved during the last 50 years, the role played by the pharmaceutical companies, and the dogmas and guidelines used by many doctors to justify ignoring their patients. In part 2 of the book, I provide the essential science necessary to understand why some of the recommendations in the guidelines are flawed. I have tried to make the science accessible to anyone interested, but patients most interested in treatment options might skip this part during a first reading without a major loss of understanding. In part 3, I review the history of hypothyroidism and its treatment, explaining our understanding as it developed over the past 200 years. I have also tried to make this section accessible to all readers. Again though, patients might skip this section during a first reading if they want to understand treatment options more quickly. Parts 1, 4, and 5 of the book are essential for all readers. Part 4 contains the scientific evidence supporting the claims made by millions of patients during the past 50 years. Patients will see confirmation that they are not alone, and that their complaints have been shared and expressed for decades. In the final part of the book, I provide readers with specific information to help them understand alternative treatments for hypothyroidism. I also explain options for patients to discuss with their doctors that might reduce their symptoms. I end the book with a look at the future, with new technologies for improving the treatment of hypothyroidism. I hope I have also provided enough detail for my secondary audience, my fellow physicians, medical students, and other healthcare professionals who care for patients with thyroid conditions. We all need to understand the problem and potential solutions and be part of the conversation. If a treatment isn't working for some, we can't call it a complete success. For those who wish to gain in-depth knowledge of the disease mechanisms in clinical trials discussed in the
Sample complete. Ready to continue?